Welcome to Mining Review's Future Leader series, and today we are chatting to Janice Zhang, who's a civil engineer at Knight Piésold. Janice, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, let's start by asking you, why did you decide to pursue a career in civil engineering?
Well, it's actually quite a long story. Since growing up, I've always wanted to be a doctor, and I think in my matric year, for our matric English speech, we had to write a final speech, and the topic that year was to use the book that you're currently reading, the title, to write as your speech. And that time I was currently reading The Power of One by Bryce Courtney. And then just so happened that the May 12th earthquake in China happened as well. So for me, it sort of impacted me quite a bit because of my first aid background. I wanted to go back and help, but because of matric, I couldn't. So I decided to write about the impact of one earthquake, so the power of one. And while doing research on what happened during the earthquake and seeing all the buildings that collapsed, something in the back of my head was like, no, Janice, you are meant to design buildings that don't collapse in earthquakes. So then I got into Google, I'm like, who designs buildings that don't collapse in earthquakes? And civil engineering came out. And I applied for civil engineering without really knowing what I'm getting myself into. But just because of that, I decided to do civil engineering.
Okay, so now can you tell us, how long have you been with Knight Piésold, and what do you like most about working for this company?
I've been at Knight Piésold since I graduated, so this year's my 10th year at Knight Piésold. I think I'm very grateful that Knight Piésold actually gave me a job. I think I'm graduating. It's always difficult for engineers to find a job in engineering, and I'm super grateful that Knight Piésold gave me that opportunity. Knight Piésold has a lot of amazing engineers, so therefore my mentors. So I'm grateful for Knight Piésold to have connected me with my mentors. And what I love most is my department, the Dams and Hydropower department. I was very fortunate to see that department grow from day one. We were 3 people, and I think right now we're about nearly 20 people in the office. Yeah.
Okay. Now, Janice, I have seen your CV and you've been involved in some really interesting projects. What are some of the highlights that stand out for you thus far in your career?
Well, like I said, I've been very, very lucky to have been exposed to a lot of different projects. One of the highlights, I think, is one of our projects, Hikangati. It is a run-of-river hydropower scheme on the border of Uganda and Tanzania. I think I just did the drawings and the detailing of the weir. But when the client sent us the photos of the scheme actually operating and power being produced, I think that for me is a highlight. So the highlight is seeing what we've actually worked towards being built and making a difference in the community.
Okay. Now let's move away from the workplace. How do you ensure that you maintain a good work-life balance? You know, what are your hobbies? What do you like doing in your spare time?
Oh, well, the work-life balance. I think everyone has a different opinion on what balance is. It's 50-50, but to me, it's sometimes 80-20, sometimes 20-80. But in my spare time, I climb. I do a lot of indoor climbing. I think that has sort of helped me clear my mind, because while I'm on the wall, I can't be thinking of work and what I've calculated. So I need to concentrate on trying to get up the wall and not fall. And also, it's sort of like problem solving, which is what I really enjoy. I do like to build Lego. So I'm an avid Lego collector. So I'll sit at home, listen to some music and build Lego to just take time away from everything else and just hang out with friends, chill with friends and family.
Okay, one final question, Janice. What words of advice would you have for any young woman who aspires to follow in your footsteps?
I think the one thing is you have to be your biggest cheerleader. It's not an easier environment. It is still male-dominated, as much as many companies are trying to, bring in more female engineers and trying to level the playing field. Unfortunately, it is still a male-dominated environment. And you have to know what you want. You have to be ambitious, and you have to just go for it. What my mentor told me, which really sticks with me, he's like, the higher you climb, unfortunately, less people will celebrate your achievements.
Exactly.
But you are your own cheerleader. Go for it. Because being a woman in this industry, people will always have things to say about you. But if you know who you are, and you know deep down that you are not doing anything wrong to harm anyone to get to where you are, go for it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for those words of wisdom. And thank you for joining us on Mining Review Africa today.
Thank you.